So the biggest thing that we often hear is about socialization. So what do you have to tell parents about that? And I know within our community, we have specific concerns, especially with children who have social issues. They're on the spectrum. And how am I going to work on those social skills if I'm homeschooling and if I'm just with my kids? But yes, let's tackle that one.
That one, the S word, the big one. This is like the biggest question in homeschooling, right? So overall, this is the thing that I always try to get parents to really think about first, is the fact that when we want to learn anything, even us as adults, when we want to learn anything, any new skill, would it make more sense to buddy up with someone who knows more than you, or would it make sense to buddy up with somebody who is at the exact same level that you are?
Right.
Like if you want to get better at something, whether it's math, whether it's singing, whether it's dance, whether it's football, whether it's social skills, you want to be with people who are better at those things than you. And so when we look at the public school system, it puts kids together by age. And typically, developmentally speaking, kids will hit, their different social milestones, like, moving from parallel play to playing together and being able to have conversations and learning how to share and things like that. They all hit those things roughly kind of around at the same time. But that means if we're putting them all together by age, then they are learning, quote unquote, from people who are just as clueless as they are. And so it doesn't make any sense to say, well, I want my child to be socialized, so I'm going to put my preschooler in with a bunch of preschoolers. He's going to come home with the same bad habits that all the other preschoolers have,
Right.
And so once you see, oh yeah, this whole idea of being with the same age just doesn't make a lot of sense. Then it can be a little easier to see how, okay, so in homeschooling, even worst case scenario, it's just you and your child, because there are single families, maybe it's a single mom who just has a single child. She's like, it's just the two of us. How is this child going to learn to socialize if it's just the two of us? Well, yes, obviously you're going to want to look for, play groups or activities and things where your child can make some friends. Yes, but just because it's just you and your child doesn't mean they're not going to learn social skills. They're learning from a master. You're way older. You know what proper socialization looks like, what it looks like to have a conversation, what it looks like to share, what it looks like to take turns, what it looks like to function with other people in a way that makes society work. And so even if it is just you and your child is still going to be socialized because you're going to be able to teach them. Now, of course, and we have someone in the chat I can see who's saying, as an autistic person, she said public school really messed her up. Yes, because when you put somebody who is having struggles for whatever reason into that system, now not only are they trying to deal with all of these other random kids, and even if they're all, neurologically normal, they're still at your age. And so they're still going to have all the same bad habits or not even bad habits, but just be clueless about things. But then you also, with your own struggles, whatever those are, trying to process, trying to learn, that could be a disaster.
Right.
So taking your child out of that system so that you, in smaller, more controlled, more specifically selected kinds of groups, we're going to get together with these people who I know, people that you already know. We know these people from church, or we know these people from, a group that we used to be a part of, or their neighbors. We already know them. So there's already connection. We can start small. We can build up from there. It gives you way more control so that you can make sure your child is learning the skills that they need, but in an environment that's not going to be overly stressful, overwhelming, where you could talk ahead of time with the parents. My child has these struggles. We're working on them.
Exactly.
Can we get together and hang out, and other parents who have kids with same issues will be like, yes, finally someone else who understands what it's like to have a kid who's got struggles, and we need to figure this out, and particularly now with so many parents pulling their kids, more and more opportunities, more groups, more play groups, co-ops, social groups, all these things popping up. That's making it even easier to find those kind of things.
Right. Yeah. That loving, caring, informed group, no matter how big it is, it just makes it easier for our kids to practice and also not feel judged when they do. And when they mess up, they can have that community that they feel like, okay, it's safe for me take a little step out here and try something. But like our guest who had made the comment before and saying I'm pretty sure I suffer from PTSD from my school experience, that I read a book on autism recently that said the majority of people on the spectrum do suffer from PTSD because of that social experience in the school system, because they felt so judged. And then you're taking that academic stress and the social stress,
right,
and it's like doubly as bad.